The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code NBA SGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing NBA, college football, NFL with Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no the voice, no the guy. It's me, really real, a villain real, Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. Yes. Next week, we are so back.
We got a bunch of episodes that we got coming up in the next week, but yeah, we're about a week away.
We are so back from just regular season NBA. This is going to be a great year because last season was a great season. So many crazy.
Hey, your team's actually good.
Season. Yeah. I mean, well, let's not jinx it.
Your team's supposed to be good.
On paper, but they got to stay healthy. That's what happened last year. We were supposed to be really good. And I mean, granted, they were really good for a time, but the injuries caught up with them. OG, as soon as we made the trade, everybody immediately said, OG's not even going to play. And I'm like, y'all are haters. He immediately did not play.
And then you paid him a lot of money. So we'll see what happens.
So, I mean, hey, just look, strength and conditioning, everybody. Milk. Hey, the Got Milk. Remember the Got Milk commercials?
Mm-hmm.
Come on. I need super milk. Like, let's go. So yeah. Wait, if you're wondering who you're talking to, that's Scott Studio Reichel. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, can't complain. Looking forward to once again, I believe this is the final division preview. I know that Munaf did one yesterday, I believe, with Lonte with the Northwest Division. So they covered the Thunder. Spoiler, wasn't on the show, but I really do like the Thunder this season. We'll mention that in the Futures episode, probably next week. But last division preview, we're going to do the Pacific. Should be fun. LeBron, Steph, what's not to like? Not Paul George. He's not there anymore. So we'll see what happens with the Clippers, but should be fun. This division's usually one of the more open ones, and based on the odds, this is a very open division. So it should be a lot of fun. But anytime you have the LeBron, Steph, and Durant division, should be a lot of talking points. So looking forward to breaking it down.
Yep, very much so. So, all right. Here we are. This is on paper a really good division in terms of being competitive with each other. With the rest of the league, it's hit or miss sometimes. I will admit that. But, I mean, we can go ahead and get started here. Los Angeles Clippers, Scott. Currently 12-1 to win the division. Win total sitting here at 38.5. Plus 225 make playoffs, minus 285 miss playoffs. Oh, they really pissed me off making the playoffs last year. I had them to miss, and they squeaked their way in and immediately did nothing with it.
They figured it out for about I'd say 3 weeks. 3 weeks to a month, they figured it out, and then it immediately fell apart. But for about 3-4 weeks, they looked really, really good.
I mean, no Paul George. You're now completely resting everything on Kawhi and James Harden's shoulders. How healthy is this team?
Well, you got to factor in the roster moves because, of course, they lost Paul George. Kawhi, we know, is the ultimate unknown because we never know how many games he's going to play. I feel like anybody that buys tickets to a Clippers game is just playing game of roulette whether or not Kawhi's going to be in the lineup or not. So you don't really know. And Kawhi had some comments, I believe it was during media day, where he basically said, like, yeah, I don't try to miss games. Like, it is what it is, basically. And it's like, all right, cool. So we know that your knee's still going to give you problems. All right, great. Then you ended up hearing that Paul George, of course, ended up leaving. They decided not to bring him back. I don't want to say they had to choose between him or James Harden, but they ended up getting James Harden back, and Paul George did not. Coincidentally, Paul George got injured in preseason anyway, but that doesn't have anything to do with what the Clippers decided to do. So to go through the actual roster for the Clippers for the upcoming season, let's just say not great. James Harden, Terrence Mann, Kawhi Leonard, Derek Jones, and you have Zubac. You have Chris Dunn, Amir Coffey, Norman Powell, Nick Batum, and Mo Bamba. You got Bones Highland in there, Kevin Porter, who's back from his year-long suspension, basically. Kai Jones, also kind of the same boat there.
I was about to say, Kai Jones is on the. I was surprised you let Kai Jones get all the way to the back end of this roster. That's
I was
the guy.
going on the order that
Oh,
the
okay.
depth chart I'm looking at. So it wasn't based on personal bias. I'm just going based on the order here. Besides that, you have PJ Tucker, who's basically been told to stay away from the team. So Tucker's not going to play. He's going to need help moving his shoe collection to the next team that signs him. But we'll see what happens. But
Oh no, he doesn't. He has his own house, like in an austere location, and somebody literally flies out there to go get his shoes and then bring him back. He
okay,
has
cool.
no
I'm just saying
worries.
because that person might be called within the first couple of weeks of the season at some point. But for the sake of this team, James Harden, we know, has been extremely up and down the last couple of years. And there's a lot of usage. And that's going to go up because there's no Paul George. So you're expecting the ball to be in Harden's hands even more. And when you factor in the amount of games that Kawhi might miss in this upcoming season, it might be the James Harden show, for better or worse. Now, they're the worst team in the division. I feel like that's fair if you want to just talk about all five. You could argue the Lakers might be underwhelming, but I think they're better than this Clippers team. So I'm not high on this team. Kawhi played 68 games last season, which is low-key a lot for Kawhi. Like, I'm shocked he played more than 60 when you look back on it. He played 68. That's pretty good. But I don't exactly expect that to happen again. You're looking at Paul George, who played 74. He averaged 22-plus points per game. He's not there anymore. And Harden played 72. So they were pretty lucky, I say with injury luck, because those are some guys
That's
that
a
have missed
good
a lot of
season
time.
for them.
That's a good season.
Which
That's
is
my
crazy.
point.
That's the crazy thing, though. That we should not be accepting that as a good season. For me, it's just
I like the under. Just that's how I'll go about it.
because my thought process is how far off is James Harden from James Harden in his prime? Because James Harden in his prime could lead a team by himself to 50 wins.
Yeah. I think he's way far off from that.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't at one point, it feels like at some point in the season that this team is going to fall on Kawhi and James Harden's shoulders, and they're going to have to muscle the workload. And are they going to be able to pull this team into close to 40 wins by themselves? I don't
Just
know.
to ask, just out of curiosity, if you had to set an over-under line for amount of games Kawhi plays in the season, what would you set the line at?
64.5.
Okay. And I'm assuming you'd put juice on the under.
Maybe a little juice on the under.
Okay. So that's higher than I would put it. I'd put it at like 58.5.
I say 64.5 because it takes 65 to get credited for awards and everything.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, he still wants to hit the 65 threshold.
I just don't trust the knees at the end of the day. I get it helps for the accolades and stuff, but Kawhi's made so much money, he's already a future Hall of Famer. I don't know if it matters that much for him, to be honest. I just don't trust his knees. And I think that James Harden, one of the takeaways that he had from the Dallas Finals run was how Luka handled the ball. So Harden now thinks he can handle the ball more. Like, please, can we pass the ball a little bit? But I think that Harden's going to have some monster stats because the ball in his hands the entire time. But looking at the starting lineup once again, I'll read it off. You're looking at a projection of Harden, Mann, Kawhi Leonard, Derek Jones, and Zubac. How much three-point shooting do you have in your starting lineup? Because Kawhi's fine from three. Harden's a high-volume guy. Percentage-wise, he's fine.
He's not a spot-up three-point shooter. He's going to create his own.
Mann's not a spot-up three-point shooter guy either. Jones is not a great three-point shooter. They don't have any shooters in their starting lineup, at least based on projection. Now,
Jones
even
can
the
get
bench,
you. I
you
feel
got
like Jones
Powell.
is like 35%.
Okay, sure. I mean, I feel like they were kind of daring
30, maybe it might be
playoffs.
less than 35. It might really be. Yeah, it was a point in time. But he did come up big for them for the Mavericks in the playoffs at one point too.
He came up big, but teams were daring him to shoot from the outside. So that's not exactly a point of confidence, I'd say. Norman Powell's a great sixth man. He's hurt all the time too, but he's still a very good bench player. And they have some depth. Like, I think Coffey's pretty good. Chris Dunn's a very active defensive player at the point guard spot. Fourth quarter, yelling, why the fuck Batumann's on the bench. We'll see if he plays in the fourth quarter or not. But they have some guys. Like, I'll point out, I think the bench is okay. But when you factor in how bad, or I should say what this projection is for the rest of the division, it's kind of like how I broke down the Spurs. If your win total's in the mid to high 30s and they're expected to be the worst team in the division, I'm taking your under because I don't know how many wins you have in your division. The Clippers might be dogs in a lot of their games in division if you're looking at injury concern. Now, the counterpoint for the Clippers, I believe they don't have their own draft pick. I think it might have been in the Shea trade. I'm not sure. So they might have no incentive to tank for the season, which is a bit concerning if you like the under, but I have too many injury concerns. Ty Lue's going to try to make something, but I don't like their options. So I'll go with the under.
Yeah, one injury and they're tanking. It's a lot of other. It's
they
not
can't
a lot
even tank.
Other...
They don't have their own pick. They have to blow up the team, but they don't have their own pick at this point.
Oh yeah, well, one injury in this team is horrible.
Correct.
It's a lot of other teams that they could have one injury, and I still think that they can muscle over their win total. One injury really sets this team back. They have to stay completely healthy over the course of the entire season and play their best form of basketball to get over this. That's too many things that has to go right. I'm with you. Under on the Clippers. Easily miss playoffs. Easily no look at the division. I have no expectations here for this team. All right. Hey, Hurricane Helene. We're still helping the support for Hurricane Helene. So please, please, please make sure you're going out there supporting. Also, the NBA season is tipping off on the 22nd, and we are hosting a win totals contest. Winner gets $250 SGPN gift card. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA contest to enter. That is sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA contest to enter that win totals contest and have a chance to get $250 SGPN gift card. Appreciate you. And make sure that you're tapped into Underdog Fantasy because Boost over. Boostober. I really hate that name. Boostober.
I get what they're going for, but all right. Like, sure.
Boostober. However,
can I boo the Boost promo?
The Boost promo is good. The name is just not.
I'm saying, can I boo the name?
Yeah. We can 100% boo the name here. We are not supporters of the name of the promo. However, it's an amazing promo because guess what? NBA season, because they're tipping off, Underdog is giving you every single NBA entry you make between October 19th and October 27th will be boosted. Everyone will be boosted from the 19th through the 27th. Why would you not take that opportunity? 100% go get those boosts during Boostober. NBA SGPN is the promo code. Make sure you claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code NBA SGPN. All right. Yep. Justin in the chat said he had the under 25.5 games for Kawhi played.
I had like mid 50s if I had to price it. So we'll see.
All right. Next team up. Los Angeles Lakers. Looky here. JJ Redick, Bronny coming in. Lakers division odds currently sitting at wait, is that right, Scott?
Yeah.
They're plus 450.
I checked it this morning.
Is that the jump between the Lakers and the Clippers, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it makes sense. Their win differential is about 5. So that does check out.
It's a pretty big jump between are the Clippers that. All right, we'll talk about that in a second.
They think the Clippers are going to be bad. Let's put it that
way.
way.
Yeah, they think Clippers.
And once again, they can't tank. They don't have their own draft pick. So we'll see what happens with the Clippers, but we're not fans.
Win total for the Lakers sitting at 43.5. Make playoffs minus 105. Miss playoffs minus 115. JJ Redick, first-time head coach coming in with this team. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, D'Lo is still here.
Somehow.
Yeah, somehow, some way, D'Lo has still made it onto this team. Do
you want me to just read off the projected lineup here?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so projected starting lineup, once again, this might be subject to change. D'Lo, Reeves, LeBron, Rui, and Davis. Then you have Vincent, who people forgot is still on the team. You have Max Christie, Connect, the guy from Tennessee who's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Vanderbilt, who definitely people forgot was still on the team. Jackson Hayes, Bronny, Hood Schifino, Cam Reddish, Maxwell Lewis, Coloco. They got Castleton from Florida, and that's basically it. And I see something about Christian Wood, but I'm not sure if he's injured or not. So, yeah, basically the same team as last year, but you throw in Bronny, you throw in Connect, you lose Torian Prince, and there you go.
What did the Lakers finish with last year?
So last year, the Lakers finished with 47. They finished in third place.
I mean, what's the difference between this team this year and last year?
The main difference, people hated Darvin Ham, so I'm not going to even say coaching because that actually might be a pro. We don't know yet. We don't know if JJ is going to do well or not. The main thing I have to point out,
it sounds good.
It sounds good. The main point is definitely the games played because LeBron and AD each played 71 plus games. LeBron played 71. He's basically 40. And you're looking at AD, who we kind of make jokes about street clothes, but he's actually been healthy. Played 76 games last year. Reeves played 82. Russell played 76. It's mostly based on LeBron and AD, though. They played a lot of games.
And they only won 47.
That's my point. They won 47 with both of their guys who have kind of a history of injuries for the last couple of years being pretty durable. I'm not sold on that potential again. And I don't think they're that good anyway. I think the West got better. And I think they basically stayed the same. So I'm not going to even mention Bronny.
This is close because they could easily finish with 45 wins, and we could be completely right of how this season turned out.
I'd rather just bet them to be a play-in team again. Ignore the win total. Just bet them to be in the play-in. They're in the play-in every year.
What's that play-in price?
I'll check, but I think it's going to be close. I'm not saying they fully bottom out. If they do bottom out, it's because LeBron or AD's bodies, or maybe both, just completely broke down, which would be understandable, especially at LeBron's age, carrying this franchise for about a decade, for
Plus
about, I don't even know how long at this point. But you are looking at AD, who was healthy last year, but I got to at least bring it up. They were pretty lucky injury-wise last year. To be in the play-in, it's plus 140. I mean, it's been back-to-back years. Why not?
Yeah.
I think they'll be around there. So I'm fine with that. I think Lakers play-in makes sense. I would lean on the no on the make-miss playoffs. I think they'll miss.
Man, but if they're right there, they're gonna be in every opportunity to succeed if they're literally right there.
I really think they might be a 9 or 10 though.
And then Bron doesn't. If it get in the play-in, Bron, when does Bron? How many times have they lost? Have they lost in the play-in? Haven't they won their play-in games?
I think they did win their play-in games.
I remember the game against Minnesota.
That game was a joke, but they won that game. I think they went to overtime. They beat Steph on that LeBron 35 footer.
Yeah.
And they beat the Pelicans because
I don't know. I think missed playoffs is kind of they figure it out and they end up being an 8 seed and then they get smacked. Like
I mean, once again, I feel like I'd rather take the play-in than the make-miss, but I think they'll be a 9 or a 10, and then you have to win 2 games. But it's mostly having to rely on post-prime LeBron and AD, who's extremely brittle. I know that he plays games, but he constantly he gets injured all the time, and he's questionable in every injury report. To rely on those two guys to carry you in 2024, when your supporting cast basically stayed the same, I don't think they've really done anything to improve the team. Bronny's barely going to play. Like I feel like Bronny's not going to matter.
It's going to be the trade deadline. If they make a move at the trade deadline, it's really what's going to mess all of this up.
But what's their move?
That's why I'm going over. I'm going over 43.5.
What's the question though? What's their move? You trade.
I don't know. It doesn't. It doesn't
like
matter to me.
Levine?
It really doesn't matter to me. You have to do something though. Anything is an upgrade from right now.
They didn't do anything last year because they couldn't.
And so it's more likely to me. It seems more likely to me that they're going to make a move this year. I just find it hard to believe that this team that doesn't trust anybody for 2 years in a row is going to put together the same team for 2 years in a row for the full 2 years, knowing that it doesn't work. Like it just feels like a move is going to happen at some point. And the only reason that I'm taking this over, because I still think the Lakers are going to be horrible, but it's because one, I think a lot of other teams in the league are really bad this year. 2, I think that whenever they are right there on the cusp, they always pull some shit out their ass, find themselves in the play-in. And if you're in the play-in, you probably got over 43.5. Like, I feel like this over on the win total can hit, and this team can still be horrible, and everything we're saying can be right about them. And then it's just the fact of I really, really just feel like they're going to end up making some weird move for some star player, and that's going to buy them a couple of extra wins. I would just hate to have an under ticket and they come in at 44, 45. I think it's more likely that they get to 44, 45 than 41, 42. So over 43.5 is my play, but I have a 24-1 bet on the Lakers that I think you'll love.
By the way, just for reference, the 10 seed last year, so the last play-in team had 46. It was the Kings last year. So if to back up your point, but you keep mentioning a trade, I think it's going to be similar to last year. I don't know.
And they still got the 47 wins last year.
Okay, that's fine. I'm saying once again, there was some injury luck in their favor, but you're mentioning a potential trade. I don't know what Pelinka can do. I'm just looking at this roster.
Okay, take the trade, but if you take the trade out of it, and they still get to right around this number with this same roster.
If
and
you
I
have
think
faith in LeBron and AD to play 71 games apiece.
Add the fact that I mean, I'm not going to go ahead. Just like I'm trying not to give the Clippers the benefit of the doubt of saying, oh, they're just going to be completely horribly injured this year. Like, if they do the bare minimum, they get to back to this line. Like, if you're saying they make the play-in, you have to take them on the over win total. They're not making the play-in with under 43 wins.
That's fair. I feel like for the value, I'll lean to the plus 140, but I think this has just turned into an unserious organization. And you can partially blame LeBron for it, or as I should say, GM, because he makes a lot of the decisions behind the scene. You could argue that the Westbrook trade.
I don't know why everybody keeps saying that without proof.
Okay, either way, my point is that you could argue the Westbrook trade sent this franchise back a couple years, but I am wondering how serious this franchise is about winning, because you draft LeBron's son clearly to make him happy. He's not an NBA player. I don't really care what anybody says. I've watched him play. He's not an NBA player. Anyway, point is, you've kind of gone out of your way to get LeBron what he wants. And I'm wondering if this team's fully committed to making tough decisions, or they're letting LeBron just enjoy time with his son before he rides off into the sunset. I'm wondering how committed they are to making tough decisions that LeBron might not like, which will be for the greater good of the team. I think they should have blown up the score a couple of years ago. I said that. I went on record saying they should have traded LeBron a couple of years ago, and I still don't regret what I said. And they decided, you know what? We're going to sell jerseys. We're going to have a sold-out arena every single game, and we're going to mess around and make the play-in every year. I think they're an unserious organization. I think the Buss family has turned themselves into a joke. I think that the operations is currently a shit show with the Lakers. I don't take them seriously, and that's kind of why I think this team's going to miss the playoffs in the end. But it comes down to if you think they're actually going to make the moves necessary to compete. I'm not sure they're going to, which is going to piss people off. But I think the Lakers are unserious, and I feel like that's a pretty fair assessment from what we've seen for the last couple of years.
They are, but unserious or not, this is a really low win total for a team that clear cut can clearly get over this. Like they didn't lose anything, they didn't gain anything, and the rest of the league got worse.
Yeah, that's fair.
They only beat bad teams. Like,
I don't think they're going to bottom out. But if you get one injury to LeBron or AD, you're in serious trouble. That's kind of the same thing as the Clippers, but you have a bit of a more, I'd say, injury trust with LeBron AD than Kawhi, for example. But let me know in the comment section, by the way, the live stream, if you agree about the Lakers being just an unserious organization, because I think that what they've done for the last couple of years is a joke.
Yeah. They still get over this win total. Over 43.
Agree to disagree. Do you agree?
I don't see how I just don't know how you can say you don't like the over on the win total, but you like them to make the play-in. That just feels
I like the price on the play-in. I'm not sure they're actually going to get there, but do you agree that
So what's the bet you're making on the Lakers? Like, what's the bet you're giving out? We're giving out bets. What's the bet you're giving out?
For the bet that I would be giving out, I think it would actually, it's either the win total under or the play-in. It's really one of the two. I think I'll go play-in. I think I'll go there. I'm hoping enough teams bottom out trying to tank that you actually end up getting there. But if the Lakers end up with like high 30s for wins, it would not surprise me. But I'll go for the value at plus 140.
That's not a play-in team. You can't be 39 in the play-in.
No, I said if they bottom out. I said
Yeah,
if they bottom out,
bottom
like
out.
38.
Like I'm fully willing to stand on it. They bottom out, then I'm just gonna completely be wrong regardless. But I just feel like if we like them to make the play-in, and I do, I think you have a great call with that. I have to also be over on the win total over because this is a low number and playing teams are gonna be at that 45, 44-ish around that range. So yeah. So I'm giving out over win total. We both like them to make the play-in. We think that's gonna
At
happen.
that
And
price, I have to.
all right. Let's see here. Before we get to the next team, gotta talk to you about Rhythm, #1 AI powered sports betting platform. Make sure you tap in with Rhythm and get the NBA projections, their models. Hey, you can actually go in there and start working on your NBA models. Go ahead and get that ready for the season. Make sure you have everything good to go, and you can track your models. See if your model's doing good or bad, adjust, or you can just back Rhythm AI models. It doesn't matter. They're really, really good. So, hey, claim your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. We're also brought to you by BetUS, the best in the business. Been around for over 30 years. They make it super easy to deposit using cryptocurrency, and you can get lightning fast payouts as well. Sign up and deposit $100 right now, and you can have a chance to win a 1960 Ford Mustang. Why would you not want that? I mean, come on. It sounds really cool. So use our sign up link, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS, and you can get 125% deposit bonus up to your first 3 deposits. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN so they know we sent you.
You know what? I thought about it. My best bet for the Lakers, I'll take missed playoffs at -115. I thought about it. I didn't really give you an answer. I didn't fully commit. Give me the under on wins at 43.5 and give me missed playoffs at -115.
Thank you.
We can
That's
move on.
all I was trying to get
Yeah,
out of you.
I was being annoying. There you go. That's my fault. Very
I
good.
was
I
like,
know.
all right, what's the pick here?
I was not happy with
Nah.
my answer, so I revised it. That's my answer. I moved on. Now we can move on to the next one.
Scott coming back with it and saying, hold on, wait. I don't want to back the
I
Lakers at all.
half-assed it. No, I can't do it. I gotta
He thought
commit.
about it and said he thought about it during the read and said, I do not want to back the Lakers at all.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. You said 125%. I'm like, oh, I can deposit stuff, fade the Lakers, and I'll get some money back. Yeah, why not? Sounds like a good deal to me.
But what if JJ is good? If JJ is good, then this team
But we
might
don't
be good.
know.
Yeah, no, we don't know at all. But look, I forgot to give you out that 24-1 Lakers bet, by the way. Would it not be the funniest thing in the world if the Lakers won the first 2 NBA Cups?
Just for another banner?
Just another banner.
I mean, it's funny. I'm
Scott,
not against it.
Scott, if it happens and we don't have money on it, that is a drop ball. I mean, you don't have to put a mortgage, but a little pizza bet. If the Lakers somehow, some way go out here and win another NBA Cup and have 2 NBA Cup banners,
yeah,
that's the funniest thing in the world. No way. I have to have money on the Lakers to win the NBA Cup because if they do and I don't, I'm gonna be so pissed at myself. I don't care what the result is, but if it happens and I don't have money on it, I would have just thought it was a drop ball because this team clearly cares about the NBA Cup. Like,
is
they
it weird that I
clearly
completely
care.
forgot? I've just forgot about the in-season tournament. I just forgot about it. Yeah,
It's called the
that's fine.
NBA Cup.
Yeah, it sounds better.
Oh my gosh, I would. What's them to win the group? They're plus 320 to win their group. Scott, this team cares about the NBA Cup.
Well, they're not going to win the actual championships. They might as well win something. It's like Denzel. I'm leaving here with something. Might as well win the NBA Cup.
Lakers plus 320 to win Group B, West Group B, and Lakers to win the whole NBA Cup at 24-1. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm sprinkling so that I can laugh if they actually get this done, because why do you care about this tournament so much? All right. Next team up. We've got the Golden State Warriors. A little bit of a changing of the guard for the Warriors this season. Division odds sitting here at plus 350, 43.5 on the win total. Make playoffs -110, miss playoffs -110. No Klay Thompson, addition by subtraction, some would say.
I can read off the lineup again.
Yep.
So you got Curry, you got Pajemski, who I like a lot. You have Wiggins, who I feel like we'd agree mentally checked out for most of the season last year. Kuminga, you have Draymond. You have Melton, Gary Payton II for now until he gets injured. Buddy Hield, who's the new Splash Brother off the bench. Kyle Anderson. You have Jackson Davis, who I think we'd agree was solid last year. You have Moody. You have Kevon Looney. And your boy, Kevin Knox, who's on the serious bench. So there we go.
Well, I know who's not playing.
But you said addition by subtraction, Clay's not there. So that's the main adjustment that you have to actually make.
So
they have the same win total as the Lakers. So this leads to an important question. Before win totals, before all this other stuff, do you like this roster and this team's potential more than the Lakers for the upcoming season?
Yes.
So do I. That's why I'm on Lakers under and I'm on Warriors over.
Okay. I respect. I like that. I do. I do like. And I mean, I hate that these three teams had the same issue, but it really is the same issue. If they stay healthy, and I mean, of course, that's with anybody, but these teams in particular have had issues staying healthy. If they stay healthy, there's a pretty good chance that they can cruise over this win total.
They won 46 last year, even with all the injuries and the Draymond suspension.
And Steph and all of that. So, like, with me, and I'm teasing ahead. I don't even know if we're doing that one. I don't think we're doing that one, but I have a Kuminga most improved ticket. If he does make a crazy jump and turn himself into an all-star player, that's going to be nothing but good here. I think Andrew Wiggins, with another year of just getting his mental correct and everything going on in his life right, is a really good ad, because when Andrew Wiggins was good, he was good on both sides of the floor.
Can I bet him to win comeback player of the year? Can they give that award out for a guy that like is that a thing?
I don't know.
I'm not even like a big Wiggins guy, but if you're talking about a buy low spot for
this
a guy
is an amazing buy low for
and he's good on both sides of the ball, as you said. Offensively, you kind of want a bit more. The outside shooting's not consistent. Defensively, though, and even rebounding, he's
guarding the best
impactful.
player.
Yeah, he can be very impactful. I mean, people forget he was the second best player on in a final series.
Yep.
So I don't mind that angle. I like Moody. I wish Moody got more run. I'm a big Podziemski guy. People are going to talk a lot about Clay not being there. I've been so anti-Clay for years. I'm probably one of the bigger Clay haters on the internet for the last couple of years. And I think rightfully so. I don't think it's hating. I think that he's just overrated because of his past, and he's a traffic cone on defense. Podziemski was great last year. I had a lot of fun watching him play. He's a solid three-point shooter, pretty good rebounder, pretty solid defender. I don't see much of a drop-off there between Clay and Podziemski with the other bench players this Warriors team has. And we said addition by subtraction. Maybe that sounds a bit harsh. Do you think there's really that much of a drop-off? Like, how many wins is Clay even worth in 2024? I have no idea. If you were doing like a baseball WAR segment and you were trying to like find out what Clay's WAR is, it's probably less than 2. It might be less than 1. I think he's basically an average NBA player. We'll see how he fares in Dallas, but I don't think it really matters. And it was kind of a distraction because he was owed an extension. The Warriors wouldn't pay him, and there was a lot of distractions going on. And I'm hoping that that's past them. Draymond only played 55 games. Like or hate Draymond, they need him on this team so badly. I think I have to like the over. They got 46 last year, and they were a circus for half the season. I think I have to go with the over.
Yeah. I think the Warriors have a crazy potential to me, and maybe somebody will think that I'm insane, or maybe I'm just like kind of on the Warriors train. But like, if the Warriors made a run, I don't think I would be completely surprised.
Just to be clear, you're talking about run as in conference semis, conference finals. How far are you talking?
Because
they haven't won a playoff round since the Kings.
Let's stick with just regular season. I wasn't even working my way to playoffs, but just regular season made a run where they just win a bunch of games and find themselves maybe close to 50 wins. Again, I think the rest of the league sucks. Like, there are so many bad teams that I think, or teams that I think made moves that they did need to make moves, and they just kind of tanked their team. And there's so many teams that I think in the league are just not going to be that good. So that if you're just like a above average team consistently, you can get a lot of easy wins in the NBA this year. Like, I'm not saying that this team is going to be a title contender, but if we look up and the Warriors are closer to the top of the Western Conference, am I going to be surprised? Not really. Like,
this team has some underrated depth. I mean, I'm going to read off the actual bench lineup right now. Melton, who's a pretty solid backup point guard.
yep.
Gary Payton II, who's injured all the time, but we know he fits very well with the team. He's a very good defensive player. Buddy Hield, who's a flamethrower three-point shooter. I know they didn't get as much of a run in Philly as people wanted. He had a good couple of final playoff games, but he's still a good three-point shooter off the bench. I think Kyle Anderson's a great fit with this team. I like Kyle Anderson. I think he's a very solid player. Not the best shooter. I mean, the jump shot looks disgusting, but he's a solid player in terms of rebounding and assisting. He can do a lot of stuff, and I think that he's going to bring some leadership as well. We saw him yell at Gobert a couple of years ago. I kind of like that. He kept Gobert in his place. So I think that he's a pretty solid player in general. And Jackson Davis was good. They still have Looney. They still have Moody. I like their bench. Like, I think this team's actually surprisingly deep. And I actually like their offseason. Wasn't full of drama. Got rid of Clay. Kept most of the stuff intact. I think this team can get to 45 plus wins. I know you mentioned maybe getting to like 50. The win total over I really like. I think make playoffs is a solid option too. Playing we could talk about. 43.5, they got to 46 last year, and they arguably got better this offseason, in my opinion. It's going to sound crazy because, once again, Clay's not there. I've been so out on Clay for so long on this podcast. I like the over. I feel good about it.
Podziemski really can take another step. You know, he actually doesn't have crazy most improved player odds. Like, what is up with that?
The problem is I can't bet most improved anymore because I don't know what the hell the award even means anymore.
Oh no!
They broke the award.
This is my last year. If they give this award to Wemby, I will never bet this award market again, ever.
Okay, I do want to give you a question here though. Now, Podziemski did attempt a third of the 3-pointers that Clay attempted. Clay attempted 9 per game, and you saw Podziemski attempt 3.2. If I had to ask you based on percentage, how big of a difference was Clay's percentage than Podziemski's? There is a lot more volume, I'll admit it. Clay was higher, but how much higher?
What was Podziemski's again?
Podziemski attempted 3.2. Clay attempted 9. Clay had a higher percentage, but I'm asking you how much higher was the percentage?
So if he attempted 9 and I feel like you're trying to get me here. I'm gonna say 1 percentage point.
The answer is 0.2. Clay did attempt.
I knew you were trying to get me.
Clay attempted 6 more threes, so I am aware volume plays a factor. The point is, if you're expecting Podziemski to get the boost and he takes 6 threes instead of 3, and you're factoring in the defense, you're factoring in the rebounding, you're factoring in the other stuff that he does, there's really not as big of a drop-off when it comes to three-point shooting as you might think. Clay did shoot pretty well from 3, at least from what I remember. We're used to Clay being in the 40s. He was at 38 and change. Podziemski wasn't that far behind. I think it's not that big of a drop-off. And Clay scored 0 points in a playing game. So I got to mention that too.
He's gonna get the work. Yeah, I'm really kind of sold on these young guys for the Warriors, and it's just I am slowly getting less confident that Steve Kerr is the coach to coach all these young guys.
I don't think he should be, but they extended him like in mid-season last year, I think, for some reason. So
I am losing faith. I am losing faith in Steve Kerr being able to coach all these young guys. I am. But I do think that these young guys are very good. And of the young teams in the league, and I mean the super young teams in the league, they have Steph, and those teams don't. So,
and that's why I'm getting rid of Clay. Besides the fact that I think he's kind of washed, they have a lot of young talent, and I don't think there was a log jam, but you basically prioritize playing the younger guys, but not bringing Clay back, and I appreciate that.
And Draymond settles them down so much, like, oh, you don't get the small defensive lapse mistakes when Draymond is in there telling the young guys, hey, you go here, you do this. Like, they just, all right, bet. Like, regardless of how we feel about Draymond, the young people in that locker room respect him. And he know what he talking about on the defensive side of the ball. So they do it. Like, it's very simple.
And just to be clear about the Draymond thing, we recognize how impactful he is for this team. The issue is we think he's a psychopath, which is not an opinion that we have alone. We think he's a head case, and we can't trust him to actually stay on the court because of suspensions and punching people in the face. But he missed 27 games. When he came back from suspension, The Warriors went on a bit of a run, largely because Draymond was really, really good. Draymond was really good when he came back from suspension, and they need him because as a small ball 5, he can still give you great defense, and he does not need the ball to be impactful. So assuming Draymond plays 65 games in the season, I like their chances. Yes, mentally he's not always there, but when he's engaged, he's really good for this team.
All right. Moving on. Phoenix Suns.
Oh, you skipped the team.
Wait, who did I skip?
You skipped the Kings.
I thought the Kings are last.
No.
Oh, really?
Kings have a higher win total than the Warriors. And the Lakers. And the Clippers.
Wait, the Suns are next. Wait, the Kings are really?
Kings win total is 46.5, yeah.
All right.
I'm assuming that means you like the under, but their win total is second highest in the division.
No, I'm not saying. I think it's more of I would have figured that their win total was higher than the Phoenix Suns. I would have thought that they were they're not the favorite. They're not the favorite in this division. And
No.
Do I have this written down wrong?
I mean, you still have Booker, you still have Durant, you still have Beal, and you got a new coach. No, the Suns were going to be favored in the division.
Wow. I completely had to. Oh, well, this book had them tied. That's why they had. Okay. So this book had them tied.
DraftKings was the odds I used for all these, by the way.
Okay. All right. That makes. Okay. All right. Sorry. A little bit malfunction on my part. Division odds for the Sacramento Kings plus 255. Win total sitting there at 46.5. Make playoffs minus 145. Miss playoffs plus 120. DeMar DeRozan back in California. Just not the team that everybody thought he was going to go to.
Yep.
All right, Scott, what's the lineup looking like?
You got Fox, you got Herter, you have DeRozan, you have Keegan Murray, and you have Sabonis. The bench is McLaughlin. You have Keon Ellis, who I actually liked a bit last year.
Yeah,
offensively, come along a bit, but he's solid defensively. He's a pretty good backup point guard. You have Malik Monk, who's one of my favorite bench players in the entire league. You have Trey Lyles, and you have Alex Len. You could also throw in Dougie McBuckets, who officially signed there today, so he's on the team.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he signed today with the Kings. Besides that, that's basically it. So there you go. And they got rid of Harrison Barnes, who, as you know, I love on this show. Just kidding. So that's the main move. They got rid of Barnes and they brought in DeRozan.
I think the obvious question is, how do you feel about DeMar DeRozan fitting with this Kings team?
Oh, I thought the question was how they're going to stop anybody, which is kind of the same question.
No, we already. I mean, we already that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But this is a new question. That was the question of last year too, and the year before.
You could argue the defense got worse with DeRozan taking Barnes.
Yeah, but what does DeMar DeRozan do for this team overall offensively?
I think they needed to get better offensively. I spent a lot of time last year talking about how this Kings team bothered me because they just didn't have enough creators with the ball. It felt like every possession was a dribble handoff with Sabonis, trying to run some people around screens, and the only people that could actually create their own offense, Sabonis when he was doing all the, passing stuff at the top of the key. You had Monk off the bench, and you had Fox.
Mm-hmm.
That was basically it. Herter, who I thought was really not great last year, only shoots off screens, doesn't really create anything off the dribble. Mm. You're looking at Barnes, who's kind of the same story. He was more of a spot-up guy who was invisible half the time. Murray can shoot well from three, doesn't really dribble the ball that much, so kind of the same boat there. I thought that on the actual dribble, the Kings had 2.5 guys, because Sabonis is more of like a pick-and-roll guy or like they're running stuff with him, but off the dribble and isolation, they had 2 scorers on the entire team. They had Monk and they had Fox. They got another guy who can get you a bucket at the end of a shot clock. That's the main thing they did. Now, the spacing could arguably be worse because Rose is more of a mid-range guy and Barnes is more of a floor spacer, being a 3-and-D guy. But I understand why they made it, and I roasted the Kings all of last year for not having enough guys who can create off the dribble. DeRozan can help you with that. And he can also help you close some games because he's a very good closer. So that's what he does. He gives you a bit more.
That's probably one of the best 2 closers that you got in the league right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Between Fox and DeRozan, I don't know how many other teams I feel have.
And Monk, if you want to run him there. Like, Monk can also help you close.
Yeah, like, I don't know how many other teams have 2 guys that you feel that good of in the clutch like that. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just how many. My question is not, is this offense going to be good? I think they're going to be good. My question is, how many points can they score?
Yeah.
Because
They might give up.
As you foreshadowed, they're gonna give up 120.
Yeah,
pretty consistently.
They should be a bottom 5 defense in the league in terms of rating. They should be bottom 5.
And now Mike Brown, I'm sure he's going to coach them up, and they're going to have their stretches that they're not horrible. But overall, just personnel moves, I don't see it. Like, I don't see the personnel that sit here and says that you're going to go out here and be a top 15 in the league defense at all. And that's what makes me have any other aspirations for them other than regular season. Doesn't make me interested in taking anything throughout the playoffs for this team because of the defense. And I believe that it's a balanced attack. You got to have a good defense and good offense. Like, a lot of these teams, you go out here and you play, you let them kill you from the 3-point line, and you're going to lose. Like, you're going to lose. Nonetheless, yet again, you are going to see this with a lot of teams that I talk about because, again, I said it. I think the league sucks. I really do. Like, there's so many
teams are going to be intentionally bad for the flag sweepstakes.
Yeah, and Flag's not making it any better. He's really not. He's not even making them try. Now they're just accepting that they suck, and they're committed to sucking for the whole 82 games.
I think Flag's going to be really, really good, to be fair. I think he's going to be a really good player in the league. But I'm on the under. It's a tough division in general. We like the Warriors. Even though we don't think the Lakers are going to be that great, they might be hovering around 40. This team can't guard anybody. Like, this is going to be an atrocious defensive team. And they won 46 last year. So now they have to improve by at least the game. And to read off the actual games played here, Fox played 74. Sabonis played all 82. Monk played 72. And Murray played 77. Barnes played 82, but whatever. He's not there anymore. So Herter ended up missing 18 games. All the other guys played at least 72 games or more out of the main contributors on that team. That's an insane amount of injury luck. I got to go with the under. That's so many guys that are playing that many games. One injury to Fox and they're dead. Sabonis and they're dead. Like, they can't survive any of those injuries, and they were very durable last year. I'm on the under anyway. They have to score about 120-something points per game to probably even get close to 45. I think they'll be a play-in team. I like that price. It's plus 135. I think they're a standard play-in team. But 46.5 when they didn't get there last year, I got to pass on that. That's an under.
Yeah, we're going to disagree here again. I'm taking the over.
Really? Okay.
I think too many teams suck, Scott. Like, I don't think, like, I really could sit here and go down the list of all the teams that I think are going to be bad this year. Like, I think too many teams.
I just figured with the defense, you'd automatically be like,
yeah, but if I can't trust teams like Houston, Portland to even be able to keep up scoring. I can't trust. I think Denver has taken a step back.
I agree.
We already said the Clippers and the Lakers. We aren't.
Minnesota's interesting because they lost Cap, but they're kind of transforming themselves. That's another unknown, I guess.
Are you optimistic about anything going on in New Orleans right now?
They have no center, which is a problem, but I still like their overall core. I mean, Zion has to stay healthy, which is almost impossible to actually expect. But if you're asking which team I like more between the Kings and the Pelicans right now, I'd probably lean Pelicans, but it's very close. Like, both teams have problems.
In a shootout, I'm taking the Kings.
The one problem I have with the Kings, though, is that we're talking about all the teams that are bad. This team, since they're so bad defensively, can lose to anybody.
That is true.
Which is a problem.
That is true. Utah.
So they might blow a couple games late to tanking teams. That's possible. I can't take a team to win 47.
I'm just going to say this offense is going to be able to score 125 points and give up 120 to some of these bad teams. I'm not going to take them to cover any double-digit numbers this season. I can just go ahead and say that now. If they're laying 12, 13, more than likely, whoever it is, I'm probably going to take the points. But I still think the Kings can win those games. Yeah, I'm going over. And it's really just a fade of I think a lot of other people are going to be really, really bad. So the Kings can find themselves to a pretty nice win total here. But yeah, the defense is a huge concern. Very much concerned.
I get what you're saying.
I'm not laying minus 145 to make the playoffs.
They are very talented. I get all that. I prefer missed playoffs at plus 120. I think they're a play-in team. I think that's
Yeah,
pretty standard.
I'm not
But
laying minus 145.
I do think 47, though, at least for me, that's a lot of wins for a team that can't guard anybody. So based on that, I'm going with the under.
I feel like they got to 46 last year, and now they have DeMar DeRozan. I think DeMar DeRozan is good for a win.
It helps them a lot offensively, but once again, they were very healthy last year. Very healthy. And that's a bit of a concern.
Okay. Last team, Phoenix Suns. Win total sitting here at 47.5, plus 205 to win the division, make playoffs minus 235, miss playoffs plus 195.
Well, the main move was not
Bradley
roster
Beal is
related.
hilarious.
The main move was coaching related. They told
Yeah, it
Vogel
was.
to take a hike, and they brought in Budenholzer.
Yeah, the roster didn't have much turnover, but Bradley Beal also went out there and said, "Yo, if I was healthy, we win a lot more games."
Okay.
And I don't
All
know.
right.
I don't know.
The
I just
last thing I remember
didn't
from
see it when
Beal,
he played. I didn't see it when he played, so I'm not going to say that if you were healthy, it was going to happen, but possibly.
from what I remember from Beal, the last game I saw him play with Phoenix, he got blown by it for a poster dunk by Ant, and he fouled out. Is that a fair summary of his last game last season?
Yeah.
That's what I remember. To read off the lineup, by the way, they did make a move for a point guard. They finally have an actual point guard. They somehow got Tyus Jones for $3.3 million per year. I don't know how the hell they pulled that
was
off.
such an amazing. No, that's the signing of the year. Thank
It
you
is.
for
That's an
reminding me of
incredible
that.
signing.
That's
Tyus
the
Jones,
signing of the year. They
I
needed a point guard so bad,
I love Tyus
and they
Jones.
just got one of the best. I think Tyus Jones is one of the best point guards in the league. True point guards in the league.
You could
I don't care
argue
about
that
all
he's
the
not a
scoring.
starter. He's more of a sixth man guy, but I love Tyus Jones.
Man, I think
he's great.
I think this is the roster that you make him a starter. You make him a starter where everybody else is really fucking good. You can't be a starter on a team where they got scrubs like they did in freaking Washington. Like
I'm
that
saying
was
the
such a
pushback.
great signing.
The pushback is that Tyus Jones maybe isn't a true starter, but he's a great backup point guard. I think he's great. If you lead the NBA in assist turnover differential in like 3 straight years, I think you are phenomenal, and that's what he did. He's phenomenal. Like I think that Tyus Jones is a great fit for this team. He's the starting point guard. They have an actual point guard now. You have Beal, you have Booker, you have Durant, you have Nurkic. You have Monty Morris, who I actually like off the bench. You have Grayson Allen, you have Okogie, you have Royce O'Neal, Mason Plumlee. That's not a bad 10. And if you want to throw in Bol and Ryan Dunn, and you can throw in Kaminsky if you want to, Damian Lee, I guess, who people forgot existed. That's not bad. That is not bad.
I think this line is so short. And I think it's just on. I don't know if it's the Kevin Durant hate. I don't know if it's the injury concerns. I don't know if it's just the Suns not being a likable team. Like they're just not a likable fucking team. They haven't been a likable team since Chris Paul got there and put his stench over it, and then people just started not liking them. Like I don't understand why this is only 47.5. They have a way better coach. They bring in a true point guard that's going to help this offense stay fluid. And did I mention they bring in a way better coach that actually wins regular season games?
I like the over.
What?
We hated on the Suns. We hated on the Suns
over.
team last year, but it's a good example. You can't blindly carry over feelings from the previous season unless you think nothing's really changed. The point is, we faded the Suns team a lot last year. I remember in the division preview, it was at 50-something.5, and us two and Munaf were laughing our asses off at the win total, slamming the under, and then people were criticizing us for automatically dismissing this team when we knew that it wasn't going to work out because we didn't have faith in the coaching staff. We didn't have faith in the overall, I'd say, cohesion.
We didn't have faith in Bradley Beal playing games.
They didn't have a point guard. There's a lot of problems. And even if Beal does not play games this season, having an actual point guard is so massive for this team just to get people settled down, to get people in their spots. I think Tyus Jones is really, really good.
If you get Devin Booker to his spot, you get KD to all of his spots, you get Bradley Beal to his spot, you're going to score points. It's the fact that the offense could never get going. Book's trying to run the pick and roll with Nurk, and it's not freaking working. Like, all right, now we're going to get the spacing. Everything's going to look good. Buck is going to come in here and settle this team down. Like, this is going to be a culture 50-plus games. You have to take an alt win over here. And then did I mention the league sucks? There are so many bad teams in the NBA this year.
And they have to go for it. They unloaded all of their capital to get Durant and to get Beal. Like, they have to go for it. They can't bother trying to tank if this goes poorly. They're fully committed, for better or worse. So we're going to talk about it later in probably next week or this week with the award markets. Budenholzer Coach of the Year, I think, is actually pretty intriguing.
What is that price? What is that price?
I think Budenholzer's got a shot to win Coach of the Year, but I think this team will be good. I'm not saying they're going to be elite. I'm not saying they're going to win the Western Conference, but I think this team can get to 50. I think this total's too low. We mentioned a couple teams in this division. The Lakers I'm low on, the Clippers I'm low on, the Kings I'm low on. I'm high on the Warriors, but their win total's 43.5. I can be high on another team. I think Phoenix at 47.5 in this division has a golden opportunity to win this division. I'll go with the over. I think they get to at least 48.
All right. I agree. I'm 100%. I'm with you all the way. I mean, at least, 48 is literally the least. I think you need to take an alt. You need to take an alt and get yourself in the 50+ range. If this team doesn't get 50+ wins this season, it was a complete loss. Blow everything up.
Yeah.
You have to. This is the season that you have to absolutely dominate the regular season. Even if one of these three get hurt, this is a team that I was talking about earlier. Even if one of these three get hurt, they still have enough pieces to dominate so many teams. So many teams.
By the way, for reference, Budenholzer Coach of the Year 16-1. It's a great.
I'm telling you right now, they could come out right now and say Bradley Beal is out for the season, and I would still take this over 47.5.
I think 16-1 on Budenholzer is a good price. Now, the argument is they did have the 4 seed last year, so they were a decent seed. It was a circus. If they look even competent and they get over 50, I think Budenholzer gets a lot of love. Usually, when you have a lot of star players, the coach gets no credit at all. You automatically credit Durant, you credit Booker, and say, well, of course you won 50+ games.
Nah, but nobody ever wants to give KD credit now.
That's fair, but the point is, last year they were so dysfunctional. If they even look competent,
yeah,
I think Budenholzer gets a lot of love.
It's gonna go to Bud. It's gonna go to Bud because they're not going to give it to KD. KD is not going to get the credit if this goes right. So they're going to give it to Bud or Booker. And why? Because people just don't like them.
I get the argument of people saying they can't trust them because of injuries. I get it. I'm just saying, if I was throwing out the roster and what they did in the offseason, I'm kind of impressed. I feel like they were an underrated winner of the offseason. That Tyus Jones contract, the best contract in the league. I don't know how the hell they pulled that off. That's crazy.
And granted, we sat here, we just talked about 5 teams. All of them have injury concerns. Everybody's not going to be hurt this year, guys.
And I was low. Once again, I was low on 3 of these 5 division teams. So there's a lot of wins in division that I'm picking.
Yeah. And I just think this is going to be one of the better divisions because it's a couple other ones that literally have nothing. So, all right. Scott, let's give out a best bet for this division. For me, it's clear cut. I'm going clear chalk. Give me the over 47.5 on the Suns.
Okay.
Again, I think one of the 3 could be hurt. You could sit here and tell me one of the 3. Well, no, if you told me KD, I probably think a little different. But if you told me Devin Booker was out for this full season and I'm getting a full season of Bradley Beal and no Booker, or a full season of Booker and no Beal, it doesn't matter. They're still getting over this win total.
Okay, there I'll disagree with you. Because if Booker gets injured and they have Beal for an entire season, they're not getting to 48. I think Booker's that much better than Beal. I'm not a Beal guy at all. That didn't change.
I think that with Tyus Jones, with Bud, and how the offense is going to look, they are going to play to Bradley Beal's strength, and he's going to be really, really good this season. Like that, this is now getting into the roster where Bradley Beal thrives because he's not the number 1. Like, this is now where Bradley Beal really, really begins to open up. So I disagree. I think Bradley Beal is going to have a great season as long as he's healthy. Now, I also understand that is a lot to ask for. So you will never catch me betting anything Bradley Beal unless I know for 100% fact he's healthy. But I do think Bradley Beal has an amazing season to the point where I trust Bud. I trust Bud to now right the ship, get everything going, and the fact of the injury concerns. Well, even if there's an injury, I still think this team gets over here because guess what? They had injuries last year and they still got it done. With everything, all the other stuff that was going on with this team, They still got it done. So if all of that happens again, they can still get this done, and they have a better head coach. Like this is clear cut. I'm taking the Suns over 47.5. I just don't see too many ways that this doesn't get over.
All right. So by the way, to throw in the division picks, I'm assuming you're going Phoenix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for division winner, I'll chop it. I think I agree with you, but I'll also throw in Warriors. You got 350 over there. You got 205 with Phoenix. I'll take both. I think that's a good option. So that'd be my division choice. I'll lean more to Phoenix, but I think Golden State's got a shot at it. For the best bet, I'm trying to think. The Lakers miss is fun, but nah, I'm not going to bother with that. Kings miss at plus 120 is a lot of fun for that price. I'm going Golden State over 43.5. It feels too low for me. The Clippers, I think, are going to be bad because I don't trust Kawhi's knee at all. The Kings can't guard anybody. I think I'll put it this way. The Kings should not have 3 more projected wins than the Warriors. That makes no sense to me. I think that this is closer between those two teams. Golden State had a lot of drama last year. Clay was a mess for most of the year. He's not there anymore. You got yourself a bit younger. I like your bench. Draymond missed 27 games because of suspension and injuries. I'm hoping he plays a lot. But I like Golden State's foundation. I actually think they had a pretty underrated offseason. 43.5, they made it to 46 plus last year with all the circus stuff. So take that out of the equation. I like Podziemski getting more run. I'm hoping Kuminga gets more run. He did at the end of last year. Took too long. Shout out to Steve Kerr for waiting too long. But, I mean, Kuminga played well for them. Hoping that Wiggins looks better too. But I think there's a lot of reasons to like Golden State this year. I think 43.5 is too low. Give me the over.
Love it. Love it. All right. We only got a few episodes left. We got
award stuff, and we got the finals predictions and whatever.
Yeah, so we'll have a couple of award episodes. Munaf and Lonte will do one. Me and Scott will also do another awards episode. Then we'll
I think we're merging, by the way. I think we're doing 2 awards per episode. I think that's the plan.
Yeah, so 2 awards per episode. But again, you'll hear me and Scott again. You'll hear Munaf and Lonte again. You'll hear us give out some playoff takes as well. We try to keep this majority regular season, so you'll hear the playoff takes and who we think's going to win and all of that moving forward. But then into next week, it begins. It begins, and it's going to be great. All right, Scott, anything else for people before we get up out of here?
Not really. Check out the WNBA Gambling Podcast.
Yeah, please.
It's on the same YouTube channel. It's the same YouTube channel. Just check it out.
Might as well. All right. He's at Reichel Radio. I'm at ___. Make sure you give us a follow. Give us a follow at SGPN NBA on X and at NBA Gambling Podcast on YouTube. Other than that, I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just going to end like this. We are out of here.